Looking back, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know how much it was impacting my life. I didn't realize the extent of it, because to me, it was normal. I don't really feel comfortable going into detail about my specific issues, but I would like to clear up some things about OCD. OCD has been misused as an adjective to describe any behavior which might be slightly perfectionist in nature. For example, liking things to be clean and tidy. I've often seen people organize their desk in a certain way and say, "Ooh, I'm so OCD." But that's not OCD. OCD stands for Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, and it is a type of anxiety disorder. It's split between obsessive and often intrusive thoughts and compulsive rituals, which may include doing things a certain number of times until it feels right, or performing certain actions in the belief that by doing them you'll prevent bad things from happening. While it's easy to joke about OCD, it's highly, highly debilitating. The fact that what I was doing had no rationality behind meant nothing to me, because my mind was essentially telling me otherwise. You truly lose all control over the negative thoughts which flood your mind. I've always been a high achiever, and I've always excelled at school and university. I'd spent years working towards setting high standards for myself and doing everything I could to achieve exceptional results. I graduated from university in July 2019. As education had been prominent for the majority of my life, this was a big change for me. At the time, I had no job lined up. The high of graduating lasted for a bit, but it quickly wore off and was replaced by a feeling of being deeply, deeply lost. I went from always being busy, motivated, and enthusiastic to feeling like I had no purpose. So on the 2nd September of 2019, I snapped. The panic attacks lasted for roughly 3 to 4 days. I had no idea what was going on. My body felt like it was scrambling, my throat would tighten, my chest felt as if it was collapsing, I struggled to breathe, and I had a horrendous sensation of dizziness. I would struggle to sleep because of this state of panic, and each morning I would immediately be faced with another panic attack. I spent that week in bed, unable to move or function normally. I shed more tears that week than any other time in my life. I'd lost all control over my emotions and felt utterly powerless. I went to see a doctor who diagnosed these sensations as anxiety related, and so I went to see a psychiatrist that following week. She confirmed the original diagnosis and told me I was suffering from panic disorder. Together, we drew up a recovery plan, which involved a mixture of CBT and anxiety medication. There's no cure for anxiety. Anxiety is a normal human emotion we all experience, but there are highly effective ways to manage anxious behavior. The medication made things worse for a few weeks, but then it slowly got better. It brought me to a level where I was able to respond to therapy and tackle my problems head-on instead of avoiding them. As months of therapy passed, it became clear that I had been suffering with OCD for the past 5 years. It was really difficult, but I believe I'm no longer suffering from it to the same extent that I did. Therapy changed my life for the better, and I'm so proud of the person that I've become because of it. I spent the first few months asking myself, why me, and why did I do to deserve this? I honestly thought my life was over and that this would be it from now on. Everyone around me told me that this was just temporary, but at the time, this advice would annoy me. 1 year later, I am feeling stronger than ever, and I have learned invaluable lessons. So I want to remind you that everything is temporary. Whatever it is that you're feeling right now, I promise you, this too shall pass.